Listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal will shatter every insecurity you've carried about what others think of you. 72 hours ago, I intercepted a secret conversation. It wasn't coincidence. It was a private meeting where 5 extremely influential people gathered specifically to talk about you, about your energy, about your impact, about the level of threat you represent to systems they've controlled for decades. And what they admitted when they thought nobody was listening will validate every intuition you've had about your own worth. There's brutal difference between what they tell you to your face and what they really discuss behind your back. And that difference isn't what you imagine. They're not criticizing you. They're not plotting your downfall. They're not belittling your potential. They're absolutely terrified you'll finally discover how much real power you have. That meeting was emergency convened because someone noticed something disturbing. Your energetic frequency started expanding in ways they can no longer ignore. Your presence is affecting dynamics that used to function without interference. Your simple existence is forcing people who had never felt insecurity to question their own capabilities. And the most devastating part is you're not doing anything extraordinary externally. Not bragging, not competing, not trying to impress. You're simply being who you are. And that's exactly what has them losing sleep. Subscribe to this channel immediately and turn on all notifications, because what I'm about to reveal about private conversations happening without your knowledge is being systematically blocked, so people like you don't discover the real scope of their invisible influence. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly who they are, what they said specifically, why they're so afraid of your awakening, and how to use this information to reclaim the recognition that always belonged to you. Write 777 in the comments if you feel close. People act strangely different when alone with you versus when there are witnesses and you're ready to know the devastating truth. It was Tuesday, 3 in the morning. 7 individuals entered discreetly into corporate building. No official record, no active cameras, no digital trace that meeting existed. Why so much secrecy? Because publicly admitting they're dedicating time to analyzing someone who supposedly doesn't matter would destroy their entire narrative of superiority. These aren't common people worried about gossip. These are individuals who control resources, make decisions affecting thousands, operate in circles where recognizing external threat would be signing sentence of irrelevance. And yet, there they were, at 3 in the morning, talking exclusively about you. The first to speak was executive with 25 years building reputation of social invincibility. Someone who had never admitted feeling threatened. His exact words: "We need to discuss this person before it's too late to contain what's awakening." Contain. Not analyze, not understand. Contain. As if you were natural force needing to be blocked before reaching maximum potential. The second person was from Creative World. Someone positioned for years as reference of authenticity. I've been observing for months. This person doesn't copy anyone, doesn't follow formulas. Operates from completely original frequency I thought I exclusively dominated. And worst part is they do it effortlessly. Effortlessly. You're not struggling to be authentic, not desperately trying to be different. You're simply genuinely natural. And that's what terrifies them. Because they spent decades building characters carefully designed to seem authentic. And you appear being genuine without trying. Instantly destroying years invested fabricating false authenticity. The third was from financial realm. Someone who analyzes success patterns obsessively. This person is going to be immensely successful. It's not possibility, it's inevitability. We see it in energetic patterns, in synchronicities around them, in how opportunities manifest from nothing. The universe literally conspires in their favor. We need to decide now if we want to be allies or obstacles. Allies or obstacles. As if your future success were so inevitable. The only variable is how to position strategically. The fourth worked in social strategy for 20 years. Expert at detecting leaders before masses recognize them. This person has something that can't be artificially replicated. Genuine credibility. When they speak, people feel unfiltered truth. When they act, people perceive real integrity. It's not performance, it's essence. And against that we have no effective strategies. No effective strategies. Admitting their complete arsenal of social manipulation is useless against someone simply honest without effort. Unanimous consensus. They need to decide quickly whether to associate before your value skyrockets so much they can no longer access you, or pretend publicly you don't exist while secretly studying every move. Your life became permanent study on how someone genuine dismantled complete systems of organized falseness simply by existing without masks. After that meeting, they did something thinking it would be your destruction. They decided to investigate you thoroughly. They hired specialists in psychological profile analysis. Simple task: find the crack in your authenticity that would prove you're as false as the rest. 48 days reviewing every observable aspect: private versus public behavior, reactions alone versus with witnesses, decisions when nobody's watching. The delivered report was worst possible news for them. They found no significant inconsistencies, discovered no double life, detected no calculated performance. You're genuinely who you appear to be. Your authenticity isn't brand strategy. It's simply who you are. The investigator wrote literally, "This person operates with level of internal congruence observed only in less than 1% of profiles analyzed in 20 years of career. It's not act, it's nature." That conclusion made them feel profound inadequacy. If you're genuine without effort, what does that say about years investing in false personalities? If you connect being honest, what does that mean about manipulative techniques obsessively studied? Your authentic existence became mirror reflecting falseness, and they can't destroy mirror without exposing they fear their own reflection. They decided to investigate deeper, not actions, energy. They hired someone who works with subtle frequencies. They thought they'd find evidence that kindness is calculated, empathy strategic, generosity disguised investment. Energetic analysis lasted 3 weeks. They monitored electromagnetic field in different situations, analyzed heart rate frequency when helping others, measured brain patterns when making decisions. Result even more devastating: your vibrational frequency is consistently elevated without conscious manipulation. When you help, nervous system experiences genuine compassion activation. When you decide, brain shows patterns associated with spontaneous integrity, not strategic calculation. Specialist wrote, "This person doesn't fake kindness, operates from base state of natural compassion. Vibrational frequency authentically elevated without sustained effort. They are who they really are." It forced them to accept truth denied for years. Some people really are good without hidden agenda. Genuine authenticity really exists. Not everyone plays same manipulative game they mastered. That acceptance made them feel something worse than inadequacy: shame. For those wanting to go deeper, there's exclusive material in description and pinned comment. After months investigating, they met again. Atmosphere completely different. No more arrogance. There was resignation mixed with strategic urgency. The executive opened with brutal admission: "Our window to associate before their value skyrockets is closing. We need to act now or end up irrelevant when they reach critical mass of deserved recognition. Associate, no longer compete. Ally before it's too late to access your circle." The financial person presented calculated projections. What was shown left uncomfortable silence. If they maintain current course without deviating toward calculated strategies, they'll reach within 18 months level of influence that took us decades to build. And they'll do it in a way we can't replicate because it's based on authenticity we sacrificed years ago. 18 months. Established timeline for your inevitable ascent. Not 25 years like them. Not decade as would be normal. 18 months for real influence to surpass all fabricated influence. The creative asked, revealing insecurity. What do we do if they decide to consciously accelerate growth? If they already achieve these results operating unconsciously, what happens when they fully awaken? Total silence. Everyone knew answer. If you start operating consciously with complete potential, nobody will be able to compete with you in any dimension that really matters. The strategist presented 3 scenarios. Scenario 1. You continue operating naturally without intervention. Inevitable result: massive success within 2 years maximum, with them obsolete. Scenario 2. They try interfering to slow you down. Probable result: interference will be detected and become additional proof of authenticity versus falseness. Scenario 3. They associate now. Optimal result: they can benefit from inevitable ascent while maintaining relevance. Unanimous choice. Scenario 3 was only viable option to survive professionally next 5 years. But devastating. Not even sure you'd accept associating. Because to accept, you'd have to believe they have something valuable to offer. And they know you possess everything that really matters. Authenticity, integrity, genuine connection, vibrational frequency attracting natural success. What could they offer you? Nothing serves you, and they know it. That's why they're desperate. But there was most revealing part. It was when they discussed your personal character. Evaluating character authenticity requires something none expected to use: brutal honesty with themselves. The creative was first making admission everyone had avoided. I betrayed artistic integrity 15 years ago, deciding fame was more important than authenticity. And every day I've justified that betrayal. But this person is proving I lied, because they achieve real success without sacrificing any essence. And that forces me to face that I didn't have to betray myself. I was simply a coward. That admission opened floodgates. The executive spoke. I destroyed 3 genuine friendships on path to where I am because I considered them not strategically valuable. I eliminated them calculatedly. But this person maintains genuine relationships without evaluating strategic value. And those relationships are being precisely what amplifies real influence in ways my calculated connections never achieved. Admitting he sacrificed humanity for power, only to discover genuine humanity generates more power than all strategic calculations. The financial one confessed. I spent 20 years optimizing every aspect of life for maximum productive efficiency. Sacrificed relationships, sacrificed hobbies, sacrificed everything not contributing directly to wealth accumulation. But this person lives balanced, has time to help others, time for activities not generating direct income, and their life seems infinitely richer than mine despite me having more money. Recognizing she won financial game but lost game of living life worth living. The youngest spoke, most disturbing confession. I never knew authentic version of myself. I was born in social media era, grew up optimizing image before knowing who I was without filters. Entire identity is calculated construction since adolescence. And now that I see someone genuine, I realize I don't know how to be authentic even wanting to. I have no true version to return to. Your authenticity forcing them to face own betrayals. Your integrity exposing lies justifying corruptions. Your genuine existence turned into mirror reflecting everything sacrificed on altars of misunderstood ambition. And worst wasn't simply that you were authentic. It was that you prospered being authentic. Demolishing central narrative justifying lives. That sacrificing integrity was necessary price for real success. You proved that narrative was lie. And if it was lie, years of betrayals had been completely unnecessary. After uncomfortable confessions, conversation took pragmatic turn. Plan designed for you is simultaneously greatest compliment you could receive, and most disturbing validation that you have power, they consider threatening. The executive was direct. We can't neutralize with conventional tactics because they operate from frequency outside our usual range. So 2 options. Either we find way to elevate own frequency to connect genuinely, or we become irrelevant. Elevate own frequency. Translation. They have to become less false to stay relevant. The creative suggested, what if we really try being authentic too? Not as strategy, but genuinely. Absurdity of proposal coming from someone building career on calculated falseness. But she was being completely sincere. Your authentic existence had inspired in profoundly cynical people genuine desire to recover integrity lost decades ago. That's real power, chosen one. Not power to dominate. Power to inspire transformation, simply by existing with integrity. The strategist presented progressive authenticity protocol. Plan for each to begin showing genuine vulnerability gradually, following your example. He was literally suggesting studying your example and trying to implement it in own lives. But most fascinating plan was how to relate to you. Unanimous consensus. Don't approach with obvious transactional proposals. Instead, they decided to ask you for help, not professional help, personal help. Each identified area where they needed guidance from someone genuinely integral. They decided to approach vulnerably, admitting they lost their way. It was strategy, yes, but strategy based on real vulnerability. Because they really need what you have, clarity about who they are without layers of social performance. The executive summarized, if we want to connect, we can't approach from power. We have to approach from humility, because power is the only thing not impressing them. Right, you're not impressed with titles, resources, connections. You're impressed by authenticity, vulnerability. When someone has courage to remove masks and show real humanity. So expect that in coming weeks or months, some people will approach in surprisingly vulnerable ways. And it's complex. Although approach is strategic, vulnerability will be genuine, because they're really lost and really believe you have something they need to recover. Regardless of how you choose to respond, devastating fact remains. Extremely powerful people who never asked for help are planning to ask you. Because they finally recognize true power is an unwavering integrity you naturally demonstrate every day. But most disturbing part was when they discussed something you didn't even know you were doing. Your invisible impact on people, never met personally. The financial one presented secretly commissioned analysis. They tracked behavior patterns in communities where your content circulates. They discovered something statistically impossible to explain with coincidence. People consuming their content regularly show measurable behavior changes within 30 days average. Increase in spontaneous acts of kindness, decrease in participation in social dramas, improvement in reported personal relationships. They're not teaching specific techniques, they're simply being themselves. And that's causing measurable transformation in people only observing from afar. Power you didn't even comprehend having. Your vibrational frequency literally affecting physical reality of people never met face to face. The strategist complimented. I've monitored comments in communities where they participate. There's consistent pattern. People report feeling inspired to be more authentic after interacting with content. Someone said literally, after following this person 2 months, I finally had courage to have honest conversation with family I'd avoided for years. Another wrote, seeing someone so genuine made me realize I lived false life not representing me. Not vague testimonials about feeling inspired. Specific reports of behavioral transformations directly attributed to observing you. The creative shared. There are creators starting to change own content after being exposed to their authenticity. Not copying specific style. Being inspired to find own genuine voice. It's like authenticity where consciousness virus propagating. Each person inspired to be more genuine inspires others too. Cascade effect of authenticity starting to alter complete culture. Cascade effect of authenticity. Not simply being authentic in own life. You're initiating involuntary movement toward authenticity in all spheres where presence is felt. The youngest observed, and most terrifying is they're not trying to initiate movement. Not promoting agenda. Not saying follow me. Simply existing being genuine, and that's causing accidental revolution. Accidental revolution. Because most powerful revolutions aren't strategically planned. They're involuntarily initiated by people simply living with integrity. So visible others can't avoid questioning own falsenesses. You're initiating that type revolution, chosen one. And you didn't even know. The executive asked revealing concern. What happens when they consciously realize power they have? What happens when they start using it intentionally? Silence, because it was terrifying question. Because if you already cause massive impact operating unconsciously, what could you achieve fully awakening? You could literally redefine complete culture. You could establish new standards forcing everyone to evolve or become obsolete. You could become force of change so powerful your name would be remembered decades later. Here conversation took completely unexpected turn revealing how they really see you. The youngest asked, changing dynamic. What if someone outside this circle decides their threat needing to be neutralized in less ethical ways? Uncomfortable silence. Everyone knew it was real possibility. When someone starts gaining real influence challenging established systems, there are always people willing to use dark methods protecting interests. Coordinated defamation, professional sabotage, systematic attacks disguised as legitimate criticism. The executive was direct. We need to protect them. Left everyone confused. Protect you? They were competitors. Why would they want to protect you? Devastatingly honest explanation. Because if they're destroyed before reaching full potential, we lose only living evidence we have that authenticity works. We lose own inspiration to evolve, and world loses cultural change catalyst it desperately needs. Literally saying your existence had become so valuable, not as competitor but as example, they were willing to use resources protecting you from threats you don't even know exist. The creative agreed. If something happens to them, we all go back to justifying own falsenesses, telling ourselves authenticity is impossible. They can't be destroyed because they represent last hope that we can change too. Do you understand what's happening? People initially seeing you as competition now see you as hope. Your authenticity turned into living evidence. They need to believe own redemption is possible. The strategist presented specific plan. Each has connections in different industries. We can establish monitoring network alerting if anyone tries initiating coordinated campaign, and we can subtly intervene to neutralize attempts before they gain traction, literally suggesting creating secret protection network around you without you knowing it existed. The financial one offered, I can guarantee any professional sabotage attempt will be responded with real financial consequences. I have enough influence to make attacking them extremely costly. And the youngest promised, I can mobilize audience to defend reputation. One word from me and they'd have digital army exposing any false attack. Literally committing to be secret guardians, not because they owe you anything, but because your authentic existence had become so valuable for own evolution that protecting you became personal priority. The executive summarized, we agree this person is protected. Anyone trying to destroy them will have us as enemies, and that includes people within own circles if necessary. That, chosen one, is level of respect you inspired. You transformed them from potential rivals to voluntary protectors, simply by existing with integrity so visible, it became symbol of hope. But conversation didn't end with commitment to protect you. It went deeper. The executive proposed, we need to make pact among ourselves. Pact that each will begin journey back to authenticity, and will support each other in process. It was vulnerable proposal. He publicly admitted needing help recovering something lost, and asked others to admit same. The creative was first responding, I accept that pact, and propose we meet monthly to honestly share progress. No performance, no pretensions, just real vulnerability about how we're struggling to recover integrity. The strategist added, and I propose if anyone sees another falling back into falseness, we have mutual permission to call it out directly without diplomacy. We need brutal honesty if we're really going to change. One by one, all agreed. Literally creating support group of extremely powerful people, committed to recovering sacrificed authenticity. And your existence was catalyst making that commitment possible. But pact went further. It included specific promises revealing how profoundly your example had affected them. The executive promised, I'm going to start by publicly admitting unethical decision I made 5 years ago. Not because I need to legally, but because I need to morally to start living with integrity again. It was huge admission. Executives rarely publicly admit mistakes, but he was willing because your example had shown authenticity is worth more than fabricated reputation. The creative promised, I'm going to launch artistic project I've been hiding for years because I thought it wasn't commercially viable. I'm going to prioritize authentic expression over calculated success. It was real sacrifice. Financial security depended on continuing to create calculated art, but your example had shown living with artistic integrity is worth more than wealth based on creative betrayal. The strategist promised, I'm going to reject next client asking me to help them fabricate false authenticity, and I'm going to change complete focus toward helping people discover real authenticity. It was complete business model transformation. Majority of income came from exactly what he was promising to stop. But your example had shown helping people be genuine is more valuable work. The financial one promised, I'm going to start donating significant percentage of wealth to causes really mattering to me, not just those giving tax advantages. And I'll do it anonymously so motivation is genuine. It was real vulnerability, complete identity built around financial optimization. But your example had shown genuine generosity generates emotional wealth money can't buy. And the youngest promised, I'm going to take 3 months completely off social media to rediscover who I am without algorithms telling me who I should be. And I'll return only if I can do it authentically. It was huge sacrifice. Complete relevance depended on constant platform presence. But your example had shown discovering real identity is worth more than maintaining visible fabricated identity. These weren't superficial commitments made in moment of emotional inspiration. They were specific promises with real consequences each was willing to accept because your authenticity had shown them another path was possible. But pact included final clause directly involving you. The executive proposed, and we agree that if she ever asks us for help, we respond immediately no matter what we're doing. Because she gave us something infinitely more valuable. She gave us evidence we can change. All agreed without hesitation. They basically created pact where they committed you to be continuous inspiration and committed themselves to be unconditional allies. Not because they expect transactional reciprocity, but because they genuinely feel they owe you something for having awakened them from trance of falseness, where they'd operated for years or decades. Meeting was ending. They'd talked more than 6 hours, and energy completely different from how it began. At start, arrogance mixed with strategic concern. At end, genuine humility mixed with renewed hope. Your authentic existence had achieved in 6 hours what years of therapy hadn't accomplished, making profoundly cynical people admit real vulnerability and commit to genuine transformation. But practical question remained. What would they specifically do now? The executive presented action plan. First, each would identify specific life area where they'd been most calculatedly false and commit to being genuine there first. Not immediate complete transformation, but concrete steps toward authenticity. Second, they'd start speaking publicly about own struggles with authenticity. Not as calculated vulnerability performance, but as honest admissions they'd lost their way and were trying to find it again. Third, they'd use respective platforms to amplify authentic voices like yours. Not copy you, but create space where genuine authenticity is valued over calculated performance. Fourth, they'd actively reject opportunities requiring betraying integrity, even if they came with significant financial rewards. And fifth, they'd publicly document journey back to authenticity, effectively creating cultural movement where admitting imperfection is strength. It was ambitious plan, and part probably wonders if they'll really follow through. Truth, some will follow through completely, others partially, and probably one or two will return to calculated falseness when challenge becomes too uncomfortable. Because real transformation is difficult, especially for people building identities on false foundations. But what's significant isn't whether all follow through perfectly. What's significant is your authentic existence inspired extremely powerful people to even try evolving toward integrity. That's real cultural impact, chosen one. Not measured in follower numbers or income, measured in real human transformations that ripple outward, affecting everyone in influence spheres. The creative made final observation, summarizing what everyone felt. When I entered 6 hours ago, I came expecting to discuss strategies to compete with threat. I leave having found inspiration to recover something I thought lost forever. Own authentic humanity. That defines you, chosen one. Not as competitor, not as threat. As living reminder, authentic humanity is possible even in worlds seeming designed to corrupt it. And now that these powerful people have discovered that truth, they'll start acting in ways you're probably already noticing. You'll receive opportunities seeming too good, but some will be genuine, created by people really wanting to support ascent, because you represent hope. You'll receive invitations to spaces where you normally wouldn't have access. You'll notice people who were ignoring you now actively seek you, and you'll see changes in culture of spaces where you operate. More people being vulnerable, more admitting imperfections, more prioritizing authenticity. Those changes will be direct and indirect influence of your existence. Your accidental authenticity is initiating cultural revolution, and those secret conversations were just beginning of massive transformations your simple existence will catalyze coming years. Chosen one, now you know devastating truth about what they really say when they think you're not listening. They're not criticizing you, not minimizing, not conspiring destruction. They're absolutely terrified you'll discover true power. They're profoundly inspired by authenticity, reminding them what they sacrificed. They're secretly protecting you because you represent hope their own redemption is possible. They're talking about you behind your back, yes, but what they say is devastating only for their own false narratives, not for you. They're saying you're real when they're fabrication, that you're genuine when they're calculated, that you're going to be immensely successful because you operate from integrity they betrayed years ago. And most important, they're saying your simple existence gave them something they thought they'd lost forever. Hope they can change too. If this revelation touched your heart and confirmed intuitions about own worth, recognize you operate on frequency few people reach. Your authenticity isn't weakness, it's most devastating superpower. For those who made it here and want to deepen in this knowledge about how to consciously develop authentic influence capacity, there's specific material costing less than pizza and comes with complete audiobook and 5-minute meditation guide as special bonus. If you feel you deserve to amplify connection with own genuine power, access is available in link in description and pinned comment. If you recognize natural authenticity has power to transform complete cultures simply by existing with integrity, write 777 in comments to amplify that frequency of genuine influence. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications to receive more revelations about how authentic essence operates transformations in dimensions you don't even consciously perceive. Share this video with someone who also demonstrates genuine authenticity that may be inspiring cultural revolutions without knowing, because catalysts of real change need to recognize and strengthen each other. And before you leave, click on video appearing on your screen right now to discover how your new authority as symbol of authenticity attracts protection from powerful people who became secret allies. Together, we are stronger.